Warning. This podcast contains real opinions, raw energy, and zero apologies. If that electrifies you, good. Welcome to the BSing with Y Eagle Y podcast. Hit that like button and turn it up. Let's rock.
All right. A little technical difficulties at the start, but it's Rob, and welcome to the show. It's hard to believe it's been almost a year since you guys have last been on the show. The last time we talked, there was a lot of excitement about what was coming next. And now here we are with a Green Day tribute release, which is streaming now, and the CD is to be released on August 7th. So before we jump into everything, Mario, I just wanted to say thank you. You made sure the Ferg and I got an advance copy of the Green Day tribute album, Volume 3, before its official release date. And we really appreciate that. Having the chance to sit down and listen to the entire album ahead of time gave us a better perspective on what everyone involved created. So, how did you guys become part of this Green Day tribute project? And, where can fans stream and find this copy August 7th?
Hey guys, so thanks first off, and of course welcome, or you're welcome rather on the CD. That's literally the least I can do for you guys, so always a pleasure to help you guys out and get it ahead of time. The CD is actually streaming on Bandcamp now. Since I mailed it out, it actually has been released. We released it about a week and change early because we're about a week to the physical release date. So you can get it on Bandcamp, but then you can also buy the CD. It's being sold on coffincurserecords.com, I think. I got it. You can go to our link tree, and that's where a lot of the information is. But Coffin Curse Records and Punk Rock Radar put it out. There's a few different sites depending on if you're in the U.S. or U.K. or somewhere else. But, going to his page will get you to the rest of the way. And we got on it because of Coffin Curse Records, and technically, actually, because of the Ferg. He actually commented and tagged me, or tagged us rather, and I was like, what is this? And so I reached out, and maybe sometime mid-October, and, fast forward to now, we're here on the comp.
Go ahead, Ferg. And y'all done a great job on the album, by the way.
Thank you. I think the album in and of itself is awesome. Like, I listened to the whole thing as well, and I was just kind of blown away at just the creativity from a lot of the bands. There were a lot of songs that both sounded like the original, but had its own twist to it, kind of like ours. Ours, pays a lot of tribute to the original because, it's only a 90-second song, so we didn't want to, reinvent the wheel, so to speak. But we still want it to be ours. But there's, a few songs on there that are, you would never know that they were a Green Day song when you hear their version.
Well, Mario, thanks for coming on the show. For those of you who don't know, we've got Mario from Take It or Leave It back with us. He's in a punk band in New Jersey area, some of the members of his band New York area. And as we've been talking about, he and his band are featured on 56 track compilation, a tribute to Green Day, Volume 3, put out by Coffin Curse Records and Punk Rock Radar. And I was hoping you wouldn't mention that. I wasn't trying to give any credit to myself because what I wanted to do was come on like Rob and ask you about the selection process and then ask how stoked were you guys when you heard that your band had been selected and chosen to be on this compilation?
I mean, first off, I have to give you the credit because if you didn't tag me in it, I never would have found it. It wasn't on my radar, no pun intended. But the way that we stumbled upon this would have only happened through you. So thank you. When it comes to the selection process, though, I think they said that they had 800 emails that they got from bands. Whether that was submissions, ideas, just like requests or whatever. I don't know those details, but they said they had about 800 bands reach out to them, and like that's absurd, And
Wow.
so they
Wow.
picked what 55-ish for this album, and about another 40 for volumes 1 and 2. So there's about 100 bands in total throughout this whole compilation, and so like we're just honored to be a part of it. It's I when I applied to it, I never would have thought that they'd select us. And then when I got the email back, I was like, guys, it's happening. It's happening.
Well, I remember when you were telling me about it. I mean, I was super stoked for you guys and just really excited because of the relationship that we've built with your band through Rob's podcast and then through the work that all of us do with Static Shift Radio. We were just really stoked for you guys. And so I was kind of wondering the reaction that you guys had when you first found out. And so,
Yeah, it was also like it was a little bit of like sticker shock in a way too, because it was like, oh sweet, we got selected. Oh, we gotta like write a song, record a song. Like it was one of those like, yeah, we were really excited, but then all of a sudden it like the rest of the moment like compounds, and you're like, oh, I have a lot of work to do. Like this is because like like I said, it was mid-October sometime when we sent this email
right.
out, and they wanted the finalized tracks by March, like by the beginning of March. So we're like, all right, cool. Everyone kind of takes some time off around the holidays, so we're like losing time there. And then we also need to get it recorded. We need to like get it mixed and mastered. So normally we do our own self-recording, like we did for our EP. But
Right.
this time we decided not to. We decided to go record somewhere else to help that process out.
You know, having that album in my hand, the one thing I don't want people to overlook is that this project is about so much more than paying tribute to the Green Day. What's really incredible is that this album is also giving back and making a positive impact beyond the music itself. I think that's something everyone involved should be proud of. Mario, for those who may not know, can you tell our viewers where the proceeds from the Green Day tribute album, Volume 3, are
Sure.
going and why that cause was chosen?
So I'll kind of answer them in reverse. So Punk Rock Radar, John, he's from Wappingers Falls, New York, or that area. So he's like the Hudson Valley, and Mike from Coffin Curse Record is from Tennessee. And so they chose two animal shelters in their local communities to donate to. So it's going to Care of Dutchess County and Young Williams Animal Center, in their respective areas, cities. I don't know exactly like pinpoint location, but the reason that they did it is like, and they do this with all their tributes and all their like work, like they're constantly giving back to the community. Like these guys are givers, not takers, in every sense of
Excellent.
that phrase. And like I was just with them up in Poughkeepsie in mid-July, like what now, 2 weeks ago. Oh my god, like feels like a year ago. But I was just with them, and like they are just so nice and like so willing to like help and do stuff and whatever it is. So like they wear this on their sleeve every day. They're not the people that are just saying like, oh, we're gonna do this tribute and we put it to proceeds and like it makes us look good. No, like these guys are they're living this. They work hand in hand
Excellent.
with these types of animal shelters, or other donations that they might be working on. So like it's freaking awesome, man. And like that's one of the reasons that we loved it too, because to us, like, you know, we're not in this to make a profit. If we were in a band to make a profit, then like we're definitely in the wrong industry. So, but yeah, that's the little bit of background for the donations. And
That's
I
awesome.
don't know exactly how like the dollars fall, like how much they raised or anything like that, but it's essentially everything from everything past the cost of making it is going to the proceeds, or going to the benefits,
That's
the cares.
that's super awesome, and that's more motivation for those of you who are watching. Not only if you're a Green Day fan, not only if you love punk rock or any form of rock and roll music, and you just want this as a collector's item or to listen to some new music or some old music in a brand new way, this gives you a good cause to contribute to other
Absolutely.
than just picking up physical media. You're doing two things. You're supporting physical media, you're supporting the bands, but you're also supporting these great causes. So when you go to Coffin Curse Records to their website and you order these dollars are going for a great cause. And so there's your motivation right there. There's a little promo from the Ferg, but you guys out there watching, be sure to do that, okay?
I actually just dropped the link in the chat too because I'm never not working. So if you're watching, wherever you're watching, head on over to Coffin Curse.
Yes. Speaking of that, Mario, let's get into this. You guys on this album, you chose to cover the song "Coming Clean" from the Dookie album. Why'd you choose that song, and what other songs did you guys consider before nailing it down that this is one you want to do?
So the process was, man, I don't know how to explain this other than just being like, it was like a 100-yard sprint. It was like one of those things where like when we got the email, they're like, yeah, let us know what song you want to do. And we're like, all right, cool. And we're like, let's do Longview or let's do Waiting or Warning rather. And it's like we're just tossing out a bunch of just like the hits, or like songs that like we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then like he's like,
Uh-huh.
no, a bunch of those are taken. Then he sent me like a 25 song list of like all the ones that were taken already. I was like, oh, we gotta like really think about this. Like we can't just go in there and do American Idiot, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if someone covered it on this volume. But the point is that so we started like really diving into the discography. I probably listened to Kerplunk more times in the last year than I think I ever had. Because it's an awesome album, but like when I was younger, I just didn't appreciate it the same way that I appreciate it now. So it was one of those things where like I started there and I kept kind of going through everything, but like Kerplunk and Dookie were like the two that I kept falling back to.
Yeah.
It just like felt like that was kind of the vibe that we already played. Not that like we don't sound like modern Green Day, but like we definitely have a lot more of that like let's just play fast, let's play raw, let's just like strum out the chords, don't even worry about it, kind of vibes. So we floated a bunch of songs out. I think probably had about like I don't know, 6 or 7 in our group chat going at any given time that we were like looking at. Jar was one of them.
Nice.
80. What else is on that list? 2,000 Light Years Away. There were a few. I think One of My Lives was on that list as well. So we had a bunch of ideas, but it really came down to like we're like, what's a song also that like no one else is gonna pick? There's 100 bands on this compilation. Let's pick one that we think that no one else is gonna go with.
No, yeah.
And Coming Clean was our answer. And so we put that as our front runner on when we put our list down, and they were like, book it, you're good. And we're the only band who I think did Coming Clean across all 3 volumes. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
So we're pretty happy about that. It's just cool being like original in that sense, not that the other bands aren't doing their own originals and stuff, but I like that like we're the one.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much. We probably listed a ton of other band or a ton of other songs too, but like we also knew that we were against the clock, so we needed to pick something that was easy is not the right word, but something that like we already like felt really strongly about what the end result will be. And Coming Clean was like one of those where like as we were talking about like, oh, we hear harmonies, we hear like alternating vocals, we hear some backups and like the solo, so we're like, all right, cool, let's do it, send it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that really stood out to me. It wasn't really y'all's normal workflow, and usually you guys handle your own production yourselves,
Hmm.
and but the deadline they forced you into a different process. So, you know, um, can you give us a little more on the process of recording Coming Clean compared to Take It or Leave It's normal workflow?
Sure. Yeah. So our normal workflow, like I have an interface that we leave at Craig's at band practice, so it's always plugged in. So every one of our band practices is recorded. So like we're very comfortable with just like miking up our amps or doing DI cleans. I'm not really great at like the editing and mix master, so I've always used Anthony from Small Room Studio as just like my mastermind behind the scenes. So our normal process is like we'll record it. Maybe we do very light editing, but for the most part, we're giving him our favorite track and maybe one or two others. This time we'll look at the clock and the calendar and we're like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. If we need to record this ourselves, like we gotta take time off of work or we need to, just like really like hammer it home. So instead, we hit up a friend. The band is Little Miscarriage. They have a studio at their house.
Whoa.
What do they call the studio? I forget. It's Fuzzy Butt Studios. That's it. And so I hit them up and I was like, "Yo, guys, like, do you guys record bands? Like, I know you guys record your own stuff, but like, they're like, hell yeah, we do. Come on over." So we, unfortunately for me, we planned the recording day in the middle of January, and it happened to be when the Northeast got its worst snowstorm in I
Oh.
don't even know how long. And we retired my Subaru after that day because it did not make it through the telephone pole. I
Dude.
walked away from it. It's totally fine, but we just had a little bit of skidding action, and so we had to cancel recording. Which I'm grateful now that we went to a third party to do the recording, because there's no way we would have been able to do it if that happened and we were self-recording. So 2 weeks later, we headed on back up, recorded the song, and all is good. Got a new car, blah blah blah, passed all that stuff on. But the recording process though there was a lot of fun because I wasn't sitting at the computer. I'm just like vibing with them, I'm like, all right, like, what are we doing here? What's this? What's that? Like, oh, we need to set up this mic. Cool. Where are you doing it? I have my GoPros running around. So it was definitely a different experience, but I think it was important too because it was Nick's first time actually recording. And it was one of those things where like you don't really know how to record until you just kind of do it. Yeah, you can practice to a click track and you can, play to Spotify or whatever else you're, listening along to. But like when you sit down and it's only you in your ear and, it's like, you're like, oh, wow, this is like, so he crushed it. He played the solo. So, like he just came out swinging, didn't even bat an eye. But it was
Nice.
like nice giving him a little bit more of like a comforting zone to do it at somebody else's studio instead of like being at home, where like I don't know, it felt a little bit more professional as opposed to DIY. So yeah, that's the quick summary of how that process went down. I think we were in and out of there in 6 hours, give or take. So it was definitely a fast session.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sounded interesting, though. That's
It, it was definitely one of those things where like I'm glad that I'm glad that there was like something that happened, it kind of made the final product even better. Like obviously I'm not saying that I'm glad I crashed my car or that I didn't like that. But what I'm saying is that like it gave me more value in it when it was finally delivered and finally finished and finally produced, like I like really looked at it and I was like, yeah, we've nailed it, man. Like, yes, like all the hardships paid off. So
yeah,
Heck yeah. Something to be proud of at the end of all that process.
exactly. Yeah, everything's got its ups and downs. So what's life without a little bit of hurdles to jump over?
Heck yeah. And that was a great answer, by the way, which kind of led into both mine and Rob's questions we had for you. And so, having went through this process, now you've built something of a relationship with Punk Rock Radar and Coffin Curse Records. Talk about that relationship now and how it was working with them. How did you guys like working with them in being a part of this compilation and producing this and getting it submitted for them?
Yeah, I mean, first off, they're awesome dudes. I was just talking about them in the beginning. They're just great people, good vibes, and like I think one of the best things about life is just surrounding yourself with people who like want to just better everyone else. Like they're doing this because they love all these bands and they want all these bands to be shared with the world. So to put 100 bands on a compilation, doesn't matter how many volumes, doesn't matter if it's vinyl, digital, CD, doesn't matter. You're putting a bunch of bands that wouldn't normally interact with each other together. For example, like
Yeah.
um we're like on the compilation is another band that just messaged me the other day and they're like, "Are you in Rockland County?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he goes, "Same." So like now I'm
Dude,
finding out that there's people like next door, so to speak, so like these types of relationships are more than just with Punk Rock Radar and Coffin Curse Records. They brought me into like a whole community that I wasn't a part of before. And then now we're making more smaller circles, around that community because, just like I said, like bands are reaching out and like, so hype up for Blockage. That's the band, by the way. And hopefully we're going to be playing a show with them soon. So stay tuned on that
Heck
though.
yeah.
But going back to the main question, first off, the process was actually way easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought like they were gonna. I just never worked with a label like that, so I thought I was intimidated, to be honest.
Okay.
And it was really nice that they were just like, look, just send us the masters, we'll take care of the rest. And I was like, all right, cool. So like we focused like all the bands, rather, let me say it that way, focused on the digital releases. So if we were on streaming, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify, whether it's somewhere in between, the bands were in charge of that. They were in charge of the physical releases and the Bandcamp itself. So the Bandcamp like digital release, and then the vinyl and the CDs, and the fourth volume, which is a 7-inch vinyl press for some bonus
Okay.
songs.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so
We
I
didn't know
think,
there was a fourth volume.
yeah, I think there's 7 songs on the 7-inch. Maybe it's 4 songs. I don't remember exactly, but it's like it's quick, But they're on the digital release on volume 3, so you can actually go check those out on Bandcamp. It's like the
Nice.
last 4. It says bonus track, I'm pretty sure. But they were great to work with. They took care of all the complicated stuff in the background. Like it felt like a breeze to us as a band. Like the heart, obviously, it was recording and that speed run. But like once we hit March, rinse my hands. They're like, all right, cool. Like release the song whenever you want to release the song. It could be early so we can hype up the physical releases. It could be the same day that the physical releases, and that's cool too. But we're like, all right, we'll pick June. Screw it. Everyone else was starting to release theirs. We're like, nah, let's get in on it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You know, I do want to ask another question about the process as well before we
Sure.
move on. People always hear 2, 3 minute songs. They don't see months of emails. They don't see revisions, the mastering, trying to hit deadlines. You know, um, how stressful was the timeline from signing up in October until delivering the final master in March?
It was definitely stressful. Obviously, like I told you, I crashed my car. So that was a level of stress that just, it was a curveball. But from the band's perspective, like we didn't realize how quickly that deadline was going to come up until we were like a little bit into November. I don't know if we like exactly finalized the song on October 20th or 22nd, but like roughly Halloween, for example. And then like once we kind of like really started talking about it, we're like, oh shoot, now it's Thanksgiving. We practice on Thursdays, so Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. We have to skip that one. Then Christmas and New Year's are coming, so we kind of take like 2 weeks
Yeah.
off. So like all of a sudden we started like mapping out the calendar, and we're like, we got to do this yesterday. So it was very stressful. But luckily, Anthony Balancia from Small Room Studio, our editing and mix master, I don't even know what to call him. Like, this dude is an expert, man. I was just on the phone with him yesterday. Like, I can like hear him talk all day about it because like he speaks my nerd language. But he was ready for it. He's like, all right, cool, I got you. Don't worry. It doesn't matter what they send. Like, we'll handle it. And he crushed it. We probably had about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 revisions, which feels like it might be a lot to some people, but like if you're in a band, you know that that's like nothing in comparison. So he knew exactly like what sound we wanted, what we were going for, and then it was really just like fine tuning and nitpicking and like just picking the moments to like help shine other moments. Like in our third verse, for example, we kind of like cut out for everybody. We were trying to find like ways to make the song original. And so he's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna put like just a lot more beef behind that spot. So it feels like a cannon coming out. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do it. I was like, that's awesome. So the recording process is definitely stressful. But it's to the point I made in the last question. It pays off every time. Like,
Absolutely.
it's worth it. It's worth all the stress, worth all the time that goes into it. And the listen with my headphones, listen with the computer speakers, listen with my Apple earphones, go in the car, listen in the other car. Like, you got to play it off of Google Drive, download it and play it off of like your phone's media player. Like, I literally probably listened to the song 50 times each revision. So like to say I'm an expert in the song is an understatement.
So you wouldn't say you've heard it too much by now.
I still put it on.
Yeah.
I willingly put it on.
Nice.
That's how you
Yeah.
know it's a good song.
Oh, it is. It is. It's actually great. And in fact, through all the promotion that I've done of it for you guys, it's so catchy. It's so catchy. And so, really, really great. And I loved your answer to the last question that I had for you before Rob came on. You kind of answered my question because I wanted to ask you guys if you were familiar with any of the other bands on the compilation. And what's neat about that is you kind of answered that if you weren't, now you're becoming familiar with those bands and it's building community. And so I think that's really, really important. And so, did you guys know anyone prior, or are you just now meeting them and building that community with those bands?
That's a great
And
question.
yeah,
You
and
know, oh,
here's
go.
another question I'll throw in there real quick because I know Rob wants to ask you something else, so I want to throw this one in there. Are you and the band planning on seeing the Green Day movie Nimrods that comes out in theaters August 14th?
Come on, man. Of
What kind
course
of
I'm gonna go
question is
see it.
that? He says.
Of course I'm gonna go see Nimrods. I actually, I think I just signed up for one of their contests to go to the red carpet and like perform there. There's,
Dude,
Oh,
I don't know, I don't remember. Oh, I gotta
dude.
look it up. I commented somewhere and there's a submission form. So like, who knows if we're going to Cali, but it'd be pretty dope.
that would
So
be
of course I'm
awesome.
going to see Nimrods. We'll see what state it is, that I see it. So, but to kind of circle back, actually, there is a band that I want to talk about that's on the compilation. So oh my God, man, this is I guess middle school for me. Sorry guys, but 2003, give or take. Um, I I was friends with my buddy, and I want to say we were at his house, and he showed me this band, this song, and the song is "Saturday Every Day" by Tokyo Rose.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, this song is awesome. It went onto all my iPods. It was always in my playlist. It fell off, for a while, but then kind of came back, and like how music is. Um, and I saw them recently, Tokyo Rose, open for my buddies and Keep Flying in North Jersey, and I didn't realize that they were a local band. Like they're from Jersey. They're from like Jersey City or something like that. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like that's so cool that they're local. I had no idea. Well, they're the opening band on this compilation. This
Hmm.
band that I learned about 20 plus years ago, with my buddies, just sitting in his room, just like listening to music. I'm on a compilation with them. Like, what is going
Heck yeah.
on here? That's so cool. So I did know some of these bands. I didn't have a relationship really with any of these, but like in hindsight, I'm like, damn, like how did I get here?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to listen to the album, ahead of time was, which is a great opportunity, Mario. And I can't thank you enough.
Of
There
course,
was,
of course.
Yeah.
you mentioned there were songs that, followed the Green Day, but they put their own spin on it. And, I have to say, the one, there's several I like, but one that really like,
Oh, it's track 3, whatever.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
I knew it
Water
the
was.
tower.
banjo,
Yeah,
Hmm.
the
Water
banjo and
Tower.
the fiddle,
Hmm.
Water Tower.
I think they have a
So,
music video for it too.
man,
Uh,
I was like,
yeah,
when I hit 3, I was like, oh, what is this? It's like, what
yeah.
is
I
this?
immediately texted my wife and I was like, "You gotta come in here." I was like, "You gotta come in here." There's a few songs that were like that, that like really like genre flipped it. There was a few that
Hmm.
did like the gender swap too, where we had female vocalists.
Yep.
Hmm.
Um, Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure whoever did the cover of Maria like put some ska in it. I think there might even be horns in there.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think there's a metal track on one of
Yeah.
them
yeah,
too.
There's a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
super heavy, like
Yeah.
to me heavy.
Everyone done a great job, man. I love the fact they put their own spin on it. You
I
know.
think they did a good job too with the track listing. Like I love like certain songs going like Brain Stew going into Jaded. They don't flow into each other like the CD does, like the original does. But I still like that the progression of them. Like that I don't know, because I'm ready to sing it, you know, when I'm
Hmm.
done, you know. So like I'm like I just like naturally progressed to it. I'm like, oh sweet, they did that, and they kind of like grouped a few songs together that were like that, you know, like either like same vibe or like the same album that they're all covering. So
Yeah.
it was the compilation I'm very impressed with. Not that I didn't think I wasn't going to be impressed with it, but like it still exceeded those expectations.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Mario, you produced the first release party
I did.
for this album here just a little while back. Was it? It was July 18th. Am I correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Tell us about it. Talk about that a little bit. And
Sure. Yeah.
being the
So
producer, because for our viewers who don't know, Mario not only does a lot with his band, Take It or Leave It, but he does a lot of producing professionally and for some of the projects that we work on. And he produced this release party. So for our viewers, that's why I'm asking him about this.
well, I'm not producing now, so that's awesome.
Right.
But shout out producer, you know, always behind the scenes. But the so July 18th they announced that they were doing the first release party for all of the tribute compilation. So it wasn't just focused on volume 3. They had bands from all 3 volumes. I guess technically volume 4 is like kind of mashed into volume 3. So I don't know if they had an extra one from there, but not the point. I digress. So they were having a party and they wanted to do it in John from Punk Rock Radar's like hometown area because, you know, that's where he grew up listening to Kerplunk and Dookie and wearing out his Green Day shirts, as he said, you know. So he's like, we're gonna have a party in my backyard, so to speak. So we went up
Hmm.
to Reason and Ruckus in Poughkeepsie, and we threw I don't know maybe 6 or 7, maybe even 8 bands played. All of them played their Green Day covers, and they actually recorded that session, and they're gonna press all those Green Day live versions onto a vinyl too. So I don't know if that's available on Bandcamp or on Coffin Curse Records, but he's definitely the one who's gonna be leading that charge. So if you want in on that, go follow his page. But I reached out to John and Mike and I was like, hey guys, like I do live streaming, like Poughkeepsie's local enough to me that like I'd love to come up there and produce the event. You know, not everyone's going to be local to Poughkeepsie. And it's not like, it's a little different if you're like playing in like LA or Jersey. It's like easy for like a band to kind of fly in. Poughkeepsie's, if you
Hmm.
don't know, is in like the Hudson Valley. It's probably like an hour and a half north of Newark Airport. So it's not just like oh let me just like hop into town, I'm like right
Right.
there. Like you got to rent a car, rent a van, you know. But we had bands coming in from Tennessee, that's where Mike's from, his band played. Man, I'm gonna botch the rest of them, but I know that there's like not many people were from the local area. There's 1 or 2 bands and then everyone else kind of traveled in for this. So it was really cool. And then so going back to the production side of it, I hit them up. I was like, hey guys, I want to produce this. And he's like, all right, let's do it. What do you need from me? I was like, all you gotta do is give me access to your YouTube account and I'll take care of everything. I don't need you to think about it. You know, like I got you. Don't worry about it. So I brought my laptop, brought my camera, brought my buddy to help me produce it. We ended up having a 3-camera shoot. We had a GoPro like slammed up against like the ceiling so that we can get like a
Nice.
top-down view. We had like a roaming camera, 2 on tripods. The roaming camera wasn't working too well, so we had to kind of stop doing that. But like we were like, frick it, like if we're gonna be here, let's just send it. And they were doing interviews with bands, so they're before they would go on, they'd be like, what song did you do? Why'd you do it? How long you been listening to Green Day? All that other stuff. So it was really cool, just like being with everybody on this compilation. Like we're all like-minded hobbyists slash professionals doing this. So like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's all go do it and make this better. So I told them straight up, I was like, look, we're doing this compilation for charity. I'm doing this for charity. Like, don't worry about paying me. Like this is I'm giving this to everyone else. So like treat this as my gift to our animals that need care.
Hell yeah.
And I'm a pet owner myself. I got cats, so like it hits close to home. You know, and I watch my buddies' dogs all the time. Whenever they go away or like they have like a wedding or on vacation or whatever, they just call me. I'm like, yep, I got you. Don't worry. Like I've been through multiple iterations of their, you know, some dogs have passed. Same dog sitter carries over. So I love me some animals. So it's like this hit home. This hit home.
Heck yeah. Well, you know, as exciting as this Green Day tribute is, it's also kind of the bridge into the next era. of Take It or Leave It. You've been teasing new music live for about a year now and
Mhm.
scheduled to play a new song, Therapy, on the upcoming Static Underground show August 8th. What's different about this next chapter compared to Tunnel Vision?
So Tunnel Vision was a lot of it kind of came together in like a very quick moment. So I'll actually reverse all the way back to day one. I got a call from our a mutual friend of mine between me and Craig, our first drummer Larry. He's an old coworker of mine, and he called me. He's like, "Hey man, like I'm looking to start a new project. You down to jam?" I was like, "I'm always down to jam. Come on, like what kind of question is that?" So then I met Craig and he's like, "All right, cool. Like let's play a show." I'm like, all right, slow the roll. We're just jamming, you know?" And he's like, "I booked a show." And I'm like, "All right, well we need music now." So like I already had like a few songs kind of like that I was working on in the background. He had a few songs and some ideas so like there was a lot that was already kind of brewing. So when the show happened, we just kind of like smashed it all together and was like, "All right, cool. Let's just make this album." So the songs developed since that first show to the point that we had them on the EP. That drummer left. We brought in Devin pretty early on in that process, and like just playing them live helps you like learn what you like about it. I think a lot of artists, especially when you get bigger, like you don't get to like really like test that out the same way as like we do. Like we can just go on stage and play an original song and no one's going to know if that's a new original or not most of the time unless you're like following us regularly. So it's one of those things where it's like we love testing our music live. And so last spring of 2025, our previous guitarist left the band, and that kind of threw a wrench in everything. Not in a way that like slowed us down, but just like changed the process a little bit. And it was just we were like, well, we have all these songs that we're working on and whatnot, but let's not worry about that right now. Let's table everything for a minute and let's like vibe with a new guitarist. So like when we brought Nick in, we're like, let's just like keep playing like what we're playing and we'll like slowly weave them back in. So Therapy, we played one of the first times live, I think last May. It was right around the same time that our guitarist left. And not that the song is a whole new song, but it just feels different now. It feels different a year from now, or from a year ago, because we just spent more time massaging out those like little kinks, like whether we like liked a heavy breakdown or we didn't, or like I played bass on that song, because we made the bass part too complicated and the vocal part too complicated for Craig to handle both. So it's like, all right, cool. So I get to play bass. So we just switch. We're on wireless guitars, so it's not too big of a deal. We're not throwing them, we're not there yet. Um, but like the new chapter now, it's a lot different. So originally I was the rhythm guitarist. Now I don't really view us as lead and rhythm. We're just the guitarists. We kind of switch back and forth depending on if Nick is singing, if Nick writes a part and he likes it, if I write a part and I like it. We just kind of vibe now. And not that we weren't vibing then, but now it's a little less of like, this is your road, this is my road. Let's just get to the end together. And like now we're just kind of zigzagging, you know. And so the next chapter isn't necessarily gonna be like dramatically different. Like our sound, we're still punk rock, we're still playing pop punk, or we're still like it's still all kind of the same stuff. But it's gonna feel like it has more life and soul in it because those other songs we kind of like rushed and we give them a lot of love, don't get me wrong. But like this we've been like working on for years in comparison. Like that one we just kind of like we never really like landed that plane the way that we wanted to. We just kind of like needed to get music out. Now we're like, now we're going to take our time with this. We're going to really make sure this is the song we want to do. So Therapy is going to be one of the songs that we play next week on the Underground, me on bass. And it's going to be ideally our first single to release, but I don't want to say when because I said when last time. And you know where we're at now.
Well, dang it. I was hoping to ask you about a release date, but I
We're
will
looking,
ask you this.
I'll say fall, winter. Fall,
Okay. I will ask you this. Will Anthony Balancia be helping you guys to produce these new songs and the new
Well,
EP?
that's why I was on
And
the phone
where are
with him.
you guys recording the tracks?
So we're gonna record them at home this time.
Okay.
I actually hit him up the other day. I was like, hey man, like I did a demo. I want you to check it out for therapy. And he's like, dude, this is a demo? Like, really? And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. I just like kind of threw it together. He's like, you're on the right track. Like, you're crushing it. Like, so we feel a lot more confident now about our recording process, that it feels a lot less intimidating than it did a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. So we're going to be recording it ourselves, setting it to Anthony for his magic fairy dust that he puts all over it.
Heck yeah. Okay. Good deal.
And that's the reason why, when we were on the phone last night, him and I were just shooting the shit about like the nerd shit, mic placement. Hey, you want to make sure that you're this far away from the snare drum, or you want to make sure that you're this height away from the cymbals, or like make sure you do a clean track and a dirty track so I can hear with the amp that you like the sound that you like, and then give me the regular guitar without any distortion so I can put that distortion on, you know? So kind of going through all those like processes. If you're not familiar with it, you know, behind the scenes, there's a little bit of a peek behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mario, without giving too much away, what makes therapy special to you guys?
Man, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but music is so therapeutic.
Yes.
And this is one of those things we talk about it all the time. So we actually canceled practice this week because it's Craig's son's birthday. And just scheduling and timing wise, just like a lot of our lives just like didn't align the way that we wanted it to. So it's okay. You know, you miss practice when, you know, family first, I said, you know, so it's like, it's okay.
Absolutely.
But I was telling Devin, I hopped on a call with him yesterday, our drummer, and I was just like, man, dude, like I really needed our therapy session today. Like I really could have used it. So like that's really why it feels so impactful to us, because it music is therapeutic. You know, this is a language that we're speaking that only really the four of us speak together. Like you guys get to hear us speak it, but like we are speaking it to each other, you know, in a way. And so this song kind of like really embodies that. It really like Craig yells in it almost, you know. He's like mad that like we're trying to like, you know, exert our feelings and our emotions, but like we're just like trapped, and like so it's like this bottle up moment that like kind of like explodes. Like we just the song kicks off right away. Like he leads the song off. There's no counting, there's no nothing. Craig just starts singing and we are running.
Well, you have a question from the audience.
Uh-oh.
It says, it's from You Want It Pod.
Oh no.
Mario, when is
Mario,
Take It or Leave It going to record the hit song My Heart Will Go On by Canadian singer Celine Dion?
Well,
I think I remember hearing you on some Amazon instrument.
yeah, so the very quick backstory of that, Russ Attitude shout out. But I was on the You Want It pod, you got it, and we were just talking about the recorder, just, you know, just BSing like we're doing here, and I said some words that I then had to deliver on. So I mentioned that I knew how to play My Heart Will Go On from the Titanic movie, and he's like, no way. And I was like, all right, dude, I'm just going to order it on Amazon and do it. And then I was like, oh, shit, I have to actually do this. And so I ordered it, brought it to band practice, showed the guys, and I was like, all right. They're like, did you practice? I was like, absolutely not. I was like, this has to be raw. I was like, we had to do. So there's a video on our Instagram if you want to watch me.
Russ, send me the link to that video and I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send it to you right now. I got you. I have it. Here, I'll send you the YouTube. It'll be a little bit easier. I got you. But yeah, it was an experience. I'll say it like that.
I believe I saw some of that. It's great that Rob brought it up. I saw you. Every child had one of those damn recorders, and we all felt like Squidward with those things.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because like I just remember like just having them always. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. There was just somebody playing recorder for like a decade and a half in my house, you know. My mom actually, after I posted that video, by the way, Rob, I put it in that group chat if you didn't get it.
I got it.
But my mom sent me a picture of my younger sister. So my youngest sister, who was born in, I don't know, 97 or 98, years escape me. But she was obsessed with Titanic. Oh, here it is. Oh, no. All right, we'll watch it and then I'll come back to it.
All right, guys, are you ready?
Oh, no.
Promised I'd play hot cross buns. Just kidding. My heart will go on, and let's see what happens. So, okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Oh, what do we got? All right,
There it is. All right.
You get credit. You get
What part was that?
passed.
Oh, my God, the clapping. So,
Rob, just for sharing that, I think Mario's going to take your CD back now.
oh, my God, that was so bad. Oh, man.
Uh,
So-
that's great.
Now, all right.
thank you, Russ.
Yeah, right. So this situation, I think I thought I was taught this song in school, but my mom sent me a picture of me sitting on the couch with my sister who's pointing at the TV, and I had the recorder in my hand. She's definitely watching Titanic, and I'm definitely playing My Heart Will Go On. So I have a funny feeling I didn't learn it in school, and I think I just learned it because she watched that movie so many times. Oh, God. Ah, my chest hurts.
Well, Mario, let's have just a little bit more fun. Tell us about Pasta Rock.
Oh my God! So Pasta Rock, hey. So if you write our band name out abbreviated, it's written Tioli. That's Tioli. Well, it sounds like ravioli, and if you know anything about ravioli, it's it's got that Italian gabagoula vibe,
Italian, yeah.
So my buddy once said to me, he's like, "Yeah, come on, man." Or I think it was I think it was actually in the live chat when we were streaming live, the first ever time we went on YouTube. Somebody was like Pasta Rock, and then all of a sudden it was like Pasta Rock hands emojis, and then it just stuck. And it kind of like, I don't know, like bands do this all the time. Like Blink-182 calls themselves crappy punk rock or something like that, so it's kind of like our own, take on just how the vibe is, like we're not really doing anything that's different than punk rock or pop punk or whatever, but like it's ours. So it's Pasta Rock,
Right. Heck yeah.
I gotta make some ravioli t-shirt or something. So it's right there. It's right there. I know. I will say though,
It's the ravioli.
yeah, we have flirted with a few ideas related to food. So there's a very good possibility that our next release is going to be very food related. But that one I don't. That one I have to keep. That card is out against my chest. I'm not playing that one yet.
Well, there's another thing you guys have been building that I think is really cool is Static Underground. It's become more than just another live stream. It's a platform that's helping showcase independent punk and rock bands while bringing the community together. The interesting part is you guys aren't just the performers anymore. You're also helping produce the show behind the scenes. Ferg, I'm going to hand this over to you because you've had a front row seat to it all. If you guys could walk us through what Static Underground is and how it came together and what it's like balancing being part of the show while also helping make sure everything runs smoothly.
Do you want to take
Well, I
over
will
for a
say
second?
for sure
Yeah, perfect.
the making everything run smoothly is more on Mario's part than my part, and he's definitely made my life easier. I've been blessed to host several of these shows, but I believe at the heart of it for everyone the heart of it and our entire thought process and idea behind it between me, between Mario, between Ed at Static Shift Radio. Got to give a big shout out to Ed.
Of course,
The
of course.
brainchild of all this was to bring the concert to you into your living room, whether it's through your television, your PC, through your mobile device, or however that you would watch a live show, because we all know ticket prices have gotten crazy on concerts and things like that. But we also know that sometimes people, and Mario knows this, being in a band, believe it or not, I don't know why, people will make up the lamest ass excuses to not go to a local show and will spend twice the money going to a baseball event or some other event or a dinner, and a local show might cost 20 or 15 bucks, and you've got great artists, great local artists in those areas. And so we're taking the excuse away from you. We're putting on each month a live show which consists of 4 bands. Mario, helping produce the show, has tried to keep these bands in a subset or close to it of the same genre so that there's a theme to each month's show. Each band plays a 30-minute set from their practice space or where they like to jam out, or from whatever venue that they want to put on the live performance for, as if they're playing to a full audience. And then I've been brought on to host the moments in between, kind of like you see someone on a telethon, or you might see someone on a program giving a few remarks before they cut to another scene or before they cut to the band. That's essentially what I get to do, is come on and bring my energy and kind of hype up the bands and kind of hype up the viewers and get everything ready for the bands that come on. And this is right up my alley, because all of you guys know that I have a passion for sharing music. I have a passion for sharing our indie bands. I have a passion for sharing artists, because I think that's something all of us who are on camera, and even Clip, our producer who's not on camera tonight, can testify to. The love for music that everyone in this entire space has stems from wanting to share what most listeners are never going to hear unless somebody tells them or shows them. Every band you see behind me, Kiss, Elvis, whoever, what, all your famous bands, whoever, at one point somebody went and grabbed you and said, "Hey dude, man, you got to listen to the CD. You got to listen to, man, these guys are awesome, man. You got to check these guys out." And this gives us the opportunity to do that, but in a way that's also bringing the concert right into your living room. And so that's the idea and the concept behind it. Now, the Wizard of Oz behind it has been our very own Mario, and I'm going to let him tell you about that little bit of the behind the scenes and producing the show, and a little bit more about it than what I just gave you guys.
Yeah, so my day job, and just in general, my career has just been in video production. That's why I was talking about, doing the show with them up in Poughkeepsie. But like I kind of figured out during, I don't know, maybe like midway through last year, I was like, I know video production. I'm in a band. I know how to record. How do I like make this one thing? How do I mirror that all together? And the reality, like the through line, was like playing live on YouTube. So I was like, screw it, let's just do it. So my band did it. We're like, that was a lot of fun. Let's do it again next month. So we did it again next month. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's this is a good idea. Let's not do it too often, but let's bank this and figure out like what's up next. And so then when Ed and I started meeting and talking about like Static Shift Radio, he introduced me to Kaylee from Paris on Fire, and she was just like, yeah, I want to do a live stream. And I was like, cool, I already know how to do it. Let's do it. And so she's like, what do you mean you already know how to do it? I was like, oh, this is like my job. Let's go. Like I'm already ready. Like get the bands together, So then we put on Rock for Tots, which was last November's charity stream that we did for Toys for Tots that Ferg was also hosting, that we also performed on. And so did Paris on Fire, that is. But but the point is that like I loved that process. It was stressful, like everything is, but it was awesome. And so I was like, all right, we can do this monthly. Like we can create something here. So utilizing all that experience, I kind of put together this like little package that's like, all right, let's get these 4 bands on the air, let them play for 30 minutes. It'll be a 2-hour set. It's half the amount of time that a normal like live concert would be with the same amount of bands. And you can watch from your living room. I don't want this to be the only way that you guys are seeing music. But if you're not leaving to come see these bands, like, let me at least come to you to show you what you're missing. So I want you to see this and then be like, oh shit, maybe I do need to go to a local bar. Maybe I do need to go to the local venue and go see these bands. Cause like, look at these guys. They're having a blast. Even if they suck, even if they're having technical issues, doesn't matter. Like they're here doing it, And they're doing something that not a lot of bands are doing. Every band I reach out to about this is like, we can do this? Like, that's crazy. Like, that's wild. Like, you're a madman for thinking about this. And I'm like, yeah, I am fucking crazy. But, like, here I am.
Because nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is taking this concept. The only other band that I could think of that's a major band that is taking this concept and doing it on a bigger scale is the All American Rejects with
Totally.
their, showing up and playing people's backyards and things like that. But for Mario and Ed to come up with this vision, I think is revolutionary to the indie scene and even to the music scene. And for all we know, you guys, we may be sitting on something here because
We are
bands
sitting
may
on
begin
something
to
here.
do this, especially with the way that streaming platforms and things are more of the way that people are watching and viewing music. And so, hey, we may be onto something here.
I think, too, with the idea, and, like, one of my favorite things about it is that it's, like, forcing me to meet new bands outside of my circles. Like, I'm a punk rocker, so I'm hitting up punk bands. But, like, I can't just have punk bands on all the time. I gotta mix in some metal. I gotta mix in some
Mhm.
hardcore. I gotta mix in like some folk and pop, and like I gotta really like I gotta expand my network. So it's also like forced me to now listen to new music. It's forced me to reach out to different like areas of musicians. Like I'm like now hitting up bands that aren't just in 100-mile radius of me. Like I have a band calling in next week from Australia. Like what? Like
Heck yeah.
so I'm finding now new ways to make these like circles bigger. The same way that like Punk Rock Radar and Coffin Curse Records like invited me now into their family. It's like, all right, cool. Now I have a bigger circle and a bigger network, and now like I'm about to play a show with like this band that's local to me that I never would have expected because I didn't know they were even local to me. I didn't even know about them. So it's just like it's really awesome from like a consumer side as well. Like, yeah, I'm the producer, but I also like you see me behind the scenes. I'm rocking out in my
Yep.
chair the whole time. Like I'm
Oh
having a
yeah.
blast doing this, and it's stressful, just like I keep saying about everything, because work and life is just stressful. It wouldn't be worthwhile if it wasn't. It kind of feels like, but like the show itself to me is such an awesome way to showcase indie bands because you're never going to see a band from Ohio if you're not from Ohio and they're not touring. Simply put.
Right. Right. You can get online and like say, Rob, you're in Louisiana. You can now view bands in Ohio, New York, New Jersey, Florida. We've got bands in
Yeah.
Florida. Maximum Friction
California.
was on, and right, California. Kaylee does
England.
the house show there at Exeter, and brings her band on and brings other bands on. And so, this concept is also fueled by one of the good things that internet brings us. Internet brings a lot of negative things that get talked about, but internet's bringing some great things, such as your podcast, bringing us all together. But
Totally.
then also these live shows that are giving people opportunity to discover bands because used to, and Mario can testify to this, the way to discover bands was word of mouth or back in the day when bands would put up flyers and everything, and if you weren't from that town, as he said, you're like, God, I can't go 4 hours away to go to the show. Well, we're bringing it to you. You can go to the show now.
And because to harp on that point for a second, like these bands now are hitting me up. They're like, all right, cool. Like we're kind of local. We're only like 2 hours away from you. When do we play a show? Let's play a show in person. Like they're all like, we're all just trying to like intermingle our network now. It's not just like, oh, cool. Like that was a lot of fun. Like I'll see you guys later. Like, now bands that are local that I've hit up that I didn't know beforehand are like, all right, cool. We're playing Porch Fest. Like, oh shoot, you're not playing the same date, but that's okay. Like, we're near each other, so like maybe we'll catch each other's set and stuff. So like it's really awesome that I don't know. It's just it's an awesome way to bring people together. Like it's hard to make friends as adults, and like I feel like I made so many new friends because of that too. Not just music friends, like people I actually talk to. Not just like, hey, let's book a show. It's like they'll hit me up and just be like, hey, what do you think of this? And like we'll share demos and stuff. Like it's really cool. It's like it's a community, man. Like we all got to give back to it.
I can tell you, it's
Absolutely.
definitely grown.
What was that?
So I said it's definitely grown.
Yes.
And I got to thank you guys. One thing I've always respected about you guys is you've never been about just promoting yourselves. You're always trying to lift the scene around you. Um, why is giving back to the punk community so important to take it or leave it? And not necessarily the punk, but also other genres.
Well, if we're not giving back to it, it won't be there. That's like just the reality of it. We need to make sure that the scene exists. There's not You can't just go to your local pub and see live music anymore. Like a lot of bars
No.
can't afford it. They can't afford to pay a band to come in. And like it costs money, man. Like it's like a guitar isn't cheap, an amp isn't cheap. Even strings, picks, drumsticks, like the breakable stuff, like that stuff's not cheap either, like it being in a band is a net negative on my wallet always. Like there's very few times that I ever see money go into it, and when money goes into it, it immediately comes out of it. So, but like going back to the community thing is that like I love throwing shows. Like it's so much fun to be at a show. It's you just see live music performed by people who are passionate about it. Whether it's a cover band or an original band, doesn't matter. They're still they leave it all on stage, and like that aspect of the community is like what I live for, and it's kind of why I wanted to do something like this. I there was a long period of time when I was finishing up college and then entering like the professional career that like I just didn't play music as much, and I don't want to say this sentence and mean every word I'm saying it, but like I essentially quit my old career because I wanted to play more music. I didn't. I tweaked and I changed how my life was going to be. But like essentially I had to just like rip this band-aid off that I realized like I wasn't able to do this thing that I was so passionate about and love so much because something else was hindering me. And now that I have that time and now that I have the resources, now that I have the network, I have to make sure other people have that as well. That to me is so important. Like there's just not enough bars to play at for bands. So if I can give them a spot to play and perform for people, I'm going to give them that spot. And if it happens to be YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, that's just what it is right now. I'd love to own a venue and host bands, but that goes back to the same problem. Now it's only
More
local
bands.
bands or touring bands and stuff. So like this is me hosting them. This is me finding a way to be a venue to some people. And like my band is playing on it next week. That's awesome. But we don't need to play on it. Like, I don't care if Take It or Leave It's on the bill. I'm still just as excited about it as any other show.
Awesome.
Well, speaking of shows, you guys have several upcoming shows that Rob and I wanted to ask you about, and I know he's excited to ask you about one certain venue. So I want to ask you first about this venue. You guys are going to be playing at Olives in Nyack, New York on August 8th. In a 2025 interview, you said that your previous experience at Olives was something special. Describe that stage, that venue, the fans, and that special vibe that you guys got during your performance there, and what your expectations are going back, having had that great experience. Just talk about that venue, that experience, and what you guys are looking forward to at that venue.
Ferg, I've known you for a while, and you always surprise me with how deep your research goes. So props up to you.
Man.
Uh, but so Olives is just awesome. Like it's such a cool venue. First off, it's like my hometown, so to speak. It's about 15 minutes from where I grew up. It's about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes from where we practice. So it's like that's our home stage, Coheed and Cambria, they played there a lot. That's like one of the spots that they got big at. They actually just got the key to the city in Nyack last
wow.
summer. So like that's their hometown. I'm pretty sure Mike Chem played there too early on, but like very early on. But going back to the point, like it's run by a family. Like the family is Olive, like that's the last name, like that's the surname. So it's like Olive's Bar, and so I love that. Like to this community point that we were talking about before, like they give back to the community. You know, the mother owns it, the kids run it. Like, that's awesome. And when I say kids, they're our age, you know, like they're adults. But like,
Right.
it's so cool that it's family first still, you know. And then like I just love that it's in downtown Nyack. It's like right on the strip where everyone's walking. Like I once when we were playing there, I was just like standing at the door and I was just like catcalling people to come inside. I was like, "Hey guys, come on, there's punk rock, let's go," you know. And so stuff like that is like why a venue like that is so special, because they don't want it to just be, oh, we got a bunch of bands coming in, cool, whatever. Like they post these flyers on like their wall so that people are like seeing it when they're coming in for weeks, you know. And then like they are also very communicative, you know. They're asking us questions, we're asking them questions. They're not ghosting. They're not just like, hey man, like sorry, there's no door guy, so like you can't make any money tonight unless one of you guys sits at the door and collects it. Like they're not like that. Like they're always going above and beyond and taking care of all the bands. And just to be very frank about it, like it's just so much fun playing in your hometown. So like, even though it's not technically where I'm from, it feels like it's my hometown. You know, when we play there, sometimes like friends that I hadn't seen in a long ass time, like they just show up and I'm like, I didn't text you. You know, that means you saw it on my post or you saw it on my story. So like that's like why it's so meaningful, because our circle is so tight there in comparison to everything else.
Heck yeah.
Well, you know,
Rob.
like Ferg said, you know,
Here we go, Rob.
you know, you guys are pretty busy, you know, with the run
Always.
of the shows coming up.
Never not working.
But one date that piques my interest was September 4th at Asbury Park Brewery. I started digging into the history of this place, and I thought it was really cool. And to give the viewers a little history on this venue, you know, the founders, Bob McLean, music manager and co-founder of Crush Music, representing Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Weezer, and other artists.
Yep.
You have Chris Cornell, Mike Pimco, and we can't forget Jeff Plate, musician turned attorney, which developed early beer recipes in his apartment. So actually
I didn't know
came
that.
up
That's
through
dope.
they actually came up through the Jersey Shore punk and rock scene themselves. They played in bands like Kid with Manhead, the Step Kings, and Headlock, cutting their teeth at the legendary venues like the Stone Pony, Asbury Lanes. So the brewery was really built by musicians for musicians, and it becomes another piece of Asbury Park's music culture. As a band that's deeply rooted in punk rock, playing a place with that kind of history has to feel a little different than just another stop on the calendar, Mario. Can
It
you
was,
explain how you
yeah,
feel?
it was a spot I like really actively wanted to go play. I was there in March, maybe. I was actually running sound because like I was saying earlier, I'm a producer. I you know, I'm never not working. I'm always doing something. So I was running sound for a show there, and
Awesome. Okay.
they had, what's the MTV Awards trophy statue called? Like whatever that, the spaceman, like they just
Yeah.
had it on the bar. It was the real
Dude.
one from Fallout Boy.
Really?
The legit one was on the bar.
Wow.
And it's just like right next to like turntables, like and they have a live DJ that comes in every once in a while. I'm like, what is this place? Across like like, I don't want to say like above the rafters, but you know, like there are those 10-foot ceilings, and then you have like a factory warehouse type thing where it has like another like 5 feet. That section up there is just littered with like platinum gold records, tons of like photos and signed autographs and tons of stuff like this. To your point, Rob, this is like a mini mecca that you don't really realize, because it's just kind of like everyone's like, oh cool, it's Asbury Park Brewery, like that's where we're gonna go and have some beers. I can bring the dog because it's pet friendly, you know, like it's on the strip, you know. But no, it's deeper than that. You nailed it. Like it's run by musicians, and that's why it's truly an honor to play in Asbury Park every time, because so many greats come from Asbury. But like to play somewhere that like I actually could feel that community and passion is awesome too. So, and just like March, I'll be running the sound at that show too. Playing and producing, never not working.
Oh yeah.
So
It's
that
gotta be
kind
an
of
awesome
answers
feeling.
that kind of answers the question: how'd you guys get booked on that show? That you pretty
So
much
I
answered it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll double click on it for you. So after the show was over, the head bartender came up to me and was like, "First off, great job, but like seriously though, like one of the best sounding concerts we've ever had in this room." And I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I've been like working here for like 3 years, like no joke. You took it seriously and you delivered." And I was like, "Oh
Wow.
man, like thanks." Like and she's like, "Yeah, just email our boss, let them know, reach out to us and all that jazz." And I reached out and I was like, "Hey man, I want to play like a Friday or Saturday. Like, let me know what you got." And they were like, "Friday of Labor Day weekend. How's that sound?" I was like, "Are you serious?"
Uh,
Hell
Like,
yeah.
are you sure? And they're like, "Yeah, you got it." Like, I was like, "All right, cool. I'm taking it."
awesome.
So, yeah, so we're playing with Craig's other band, Digger Revel, and then a few other friends in Wave Break and Burnt Mill Ghosts, which are just like other Jersey punk rockers. So we're really excited about that one. That should be a lot of fun. Actually, just all of our shows coming up in August are going to be a lot of fun. Technically, that one's September, but I'm kind of lumping them together. It's the end. It's still summer. I'm not letting summer go yet.
Right.
Well, it's not letting go of us, apparently.
No, that's it's hot down there too.
Oh,
I think it was like 80, maybe high 80s today. I walked outside. The cats wanted to go outside. I was like, nah, we're going back inside. Get back inside.
walk out there, looked like you took a shower.
Oh, as soon as I walked out there, I was like, nope, I feel it. I feel it.
Mario, while you guys are there at Asbury Park Brewery, I know this is a legendary place to play for musicians, and I know you guys are super stoked. Are there any of the beers that you're excited to try while you guys are there?
Yes. Man, when I was there in March, I had their red ale, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but I'm a sucker for red
I
ales.
think
I
it's
also
Scarlet Ale.
Scarlet is
I
the
believe
right
it
name.
is.
Yep. Yep. So I had my first glass and I was like, oh, this is awesome. But like I'm working, so I can't just like sit there and have a few beers. Like I kind of have to like slow
Right.
roll them. And so when I went back there, like I don't know, maybe like 2 hours later to get like my second beer, they're like, kegs tapped. I was like, no. So I'm really excited to go back to have the red ale to answer that easily. Usually when I go to breweries like that, I'm looking for like Kolsch's too, because I just kind of want to. I don't know, like when I'm home, I'm drink like usually my
Hmm.
my my home beer of choice is like Kona or like Allagash or Cold Snap, so like I like
Yes.
lean in like your either lighter or like white ales. And so but when I'm going out to the breweries, like give me something weird, give me something fun. Like what's your specialty? Like usually when I'm like me and my wife when we go on vacation, the first question I ask like the first bar that we go to is always I want your most popular local beer. I don't care what kind of beer it is. Just give me your most popular. That's what I want. I see what the people love.
Hmm. I love
nice.
that. I love doing that at craft breweries and things like that. And most often, if I go to shows with my good buddy Jody, he's like me. He likes to try a lot of craft beers, and we'll look for some of the hazy IPAs. I love a good Kolsch. That another buddy of mine introduced me to that style of beers, and so when I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to ask Mario what he's into up there. If he's going to try some of the beers.
Usually too with like a brewery like that, like I'm looking for something that I wouldn't normally order because like they have stuff that I don't normally have access to. So
Right.
Well, here's a fun one for you, Mario.
hit me.
It's a scenario.
Oh.
So Billy Joe Armstrong walks into one of your rehearsals. What's the first thing you ask him?
How did you fucking find me? It's like
Uh, that's a good one.
no, that's crazy because just you saying the question, I have a million questions, which means like I can't like hone in one, but it's really just like how do you keep doing it? Like I'm just like I'm an energizer bunny. Like I run at a mile a minute. Like I can sit here, I can talk the whole podcast. I don't need I got it. I got the energy. This dude though is like he's been playing music and writing new music. I don't even know how many songs they have in their discography, and I don't know. It's is it 40 decades? Like or 4 decades rather. Like it's crazy how much music he's made. And he's not just in one project either. Like, let's be honest, like
Right.
he's got so many side projects, and then he works on documentaries, and he's got Green Day Incorporated, which is doing Nimrods and all these other projects. So it's like, this dude is a hustler, man. Like, how do you do it? That's the question. It's,
That's a great question.
Heck yeah.
but I really want to know how he found me
Great
because
answer too, because yeah, you'd probably still be sitting there looking at him.
I would think that I'm getting pranked. I would ask where Ashton is.
Where's Ashton? Yeah.
It's punked. It's punk rock. It makes sense.
Hey, that's right. That's a great connection.
But yeah, I would be very surprised. However, I am like, I've been diving into like a lot of archival footage for Green Day, and like I'm just blown away at what he gives back to the community too, man. Like they are such good dudes. Like, and I
Yeah.
knew that, but like I just didn't realize like how much they love their people. I don't want to call them fans, like they're because they're their family. Like I know, and
Right.
like people hate using like the term like, oh, like we're a family and stuff. Like it's like, all right, cool, like Mr. Manager, like we're not a fucking family, like
Right.
but like they do that. They embody that. They want you to feel like they are a part of it. Like they play hidden shows. They have all these side projects. He's constantly working with charity events. Like or I mean, all of them are actually. But like it's nuts. So, man is not stop. Got to give it to him.
Well, I'm definitely with you on that. These corporations, when you hire into them, they always say the thing about family, which we all know is a sack. I'll say that to not say too much online. However, the music community, and I don't just want to say the rock and roll community, well, although, with all genres of rock and roll, we have a great community. But the music community in general, I feel like it is a family, and especially the great people that you meet and you come in contact with and so forth. So I love that answer. Let's jump into something else real quick because you've got another show coming up at Debonair Music Hall, August 22nd. Show starts at 4 p.m. There's 8 bands on the bill. 10% of all the proceeds are going to Epilepsy Services of New Jersey, which I think that's awesome. So I want you to speak to that. Plus, what's crazy is the night before you guys go on, Plush and Major Moment are playing there the night before
Debonair.
you guys go on. So let's talk about it. Let's have it.
It's so that stage is one of those ones where like I'm always very surprised at the acts that they get, because like I actually saw Tokyo Rose there, going all the way back to the beginning of the conversation, at a Catch 22 concert. So like they bring in those real legit national bands, like you're proving it just by talking about it. But going back to Mess Fest 2, the refill, that's what the name of the concert or festival is called. So Brad, who runs Medicated Mess, he lost a dear friend of his to epilepsy, and so he essentially decided to start a project just throwing shows, because as you just know, when you're like deep in those types of conditions and medication is just like all over the place, like you're just a medicated mess, and like he kind of wanted to embody that. And so he went with that for the name for his company, and then he throws shows, and 10% goes to epilepsy foundations in New Jersey, because at the end of the day, like we keep talking about, we're a community, like we need to give back to the people who are most vulnerable, or like the people that don't have enough, or like we're privileged. Like the fact that I get to go on a stage and play music means I have a privilege that not others do. And it's not just because I'm like able to play guitar, or I'm able to sing, or able to play drums. It does those things don't matter. I have the opportunity to do it, and
Right.
not everyone does, and somebody who suffers from something like epilepsy might not be able to do that. We have a dear friend who's a huge fan of us, and by the way, I saw somebody in the chat say that they won't be at the shows, but shout out to my homies in upstate New York. I saw that. But one of our fans suffers from stuff like that, where like light, like from stage lighting is like really aggressive, and it can cause problems for them. And
Right.
so like it's super meaningful to us to be able to give back to these types of communities, because it helps fix those problems for people, whether it's just subsidizing a little bit on medication, whether it's helping at a center, like just to give them like a new TV so that they can just sit and watch TV while they're like being treated. Like there's so many little things that we don't look at. So like I'll always play a charity event. That's like a no-brainer to me. I don't. It's cool to get paid at a show, but I'm not playing music to get paid. Like I said earlier, the wallet's gonna be empty. It's fine. Like I'd rather play the music. That's the passion. The money's not.
And you
And
know, when
Debonair's
that's your
beautiful too.
passion, when that's your passion, that's when things are going to finally the bands that have that heart, great things come their way. And I've seen it over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
I think you're nailing it too with that. Like at the end of the day, the passion is everything. It's just like I don't need to emphasize more on it. It's that is the make or break.
Well, I'll tell you, it's definitely, it feels like Take It or Leave It has taken a very large step from when we first talked. You've done
Yeah.
such a great job. And I really, like Mario or Ferg says, um, we appreciate you coming on the show. We appreciate the albums. Um, and it's amazing what you give back to the community, you know. And so at this time, I want to thank you for coming back on the show, Mario,
Yeah.
and giving us an inside look at the story behind Take It or Leave It, its version of Coming Clean. It's been great hearing how this project came together, what it means to the band, and what's next for Take It or Leave It. We appreciate you trusting the Ferg and me with the early listen to Green Day tribute album, and we can't wait for everyone to hear it. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we'll definitely have you back on the show again soon.
Of course. I have new music coming out soon, so I got to come back and promote it.
Hell yeah. And we look forward to
Mario,
it.
thanks, man. Thank you so much
Of
for
course,
spending your
man.
time with us.
No, this was great. Honestly, going back to the new song, this was therapeutic too, man.
Heck
I don't have
yeah.
to be playing music to be kicking it with some good buddies. So I really do appreciate you guys having me.
Anytime. And thanks to our viewers, and we appreciate the comments. So this is Rob, and we'll catch you on the next one.